Good morning, y'all. This morning I'm going to discuss with you the process that led up to me having weight loss surgery. I, out of the three options of weight loss surgery of gastric bypass, gastric sleeve, and lap band, I chose to go with the gastric sleeve. And I'm going to be picking some of this information out. I went to the weight loss center, I'm trying to remember, September of 2017. And I done a 6-month supervised diet. When you go to the weight loss center, they give you a red folder. It is full of information. This one that I've got is not the original one I had. I picked this up when I went to my appointment this week for my 6-month follow-up since I've had surgery. I went into the intake class and found out how much I had to lose, found out what I weighed, and was given some diet information that I should follow. And one of them, this was my breakfast this morning, included drinking a Premier Protein. And I went into into the process of having the surgery, and I had to do, like I said, a 6-month supervised diet. I started at that point that I first started the process. I'm trying to remember. I was about 323 pounds when I started the process, and I had to lose down to like 315, 310, something like that. I cannot remember the exact number that I had to lose down to. So I went into the program and I done my 6-month supervised diet. During the process, we had to go to one class. I can't remember the exact name of it, but we had to do this bariatric class with the group. The class that I went to, we done some kind of a game, and it may have been Jeopardy. I can't remember what we played exactly, but that was my class. I had to do a diet class. I wound up having to go to 3 different diet classes, and that was no other fault than my own. I had to go to a therapist to make sure that, not a therapist, let me tell you real quick, psychological exam, because I had to be approved by them to say that I could handle having the surgery. And they did approve me. I had to do a sleep study, which I wound up being put on a CPAP machine. I had previously had a CPAP machine. I took myself off the CPAP machine. I had to go back through the process again, and I was put on another CPAP machine. And I used that. I'm trying to think, am I missing anything that I need to add to that? I had to do a nicotine test. You have to be nicotine free. You cannot have the surgery if you smoke. And the reason being is because the smoking will prevent your stomach from healing after the gastric sleeve surgery. And I had smoked. I used to smoke. I quit smoking about 3 or 4 years ago, and I vaped for a year and worked myself down to 0 nicotine and threw that thing down. I don't smoke. I do not vape. I do no tobacco products at all whatsoever. But you go to the diet class like a month before you're scheduled to have surgery. The diet class is basically to teach you what to eat and how to eat. And like I said, I wound up having to do it 3 times because I scheduled myself after my first 6 months, which would have been I'm sorry, I told you wrong. September of 2016 is when I originally started the program. I was supposed to have had surgery March of 2017, and I backed out. I rescheduled it for like a month later, and I backed out again. And I dropped out. I told my wife, I said, I'm not going to have the surgery. I'm just scared to do it because I didn't know what to expect. And I wound up getting back in the program. Let's see. I started off, when I first weighed in, I weighed about 332 pounds. And I had lost down to the required amount of weight I had to lose in order to have the surgery. And then I wound up backing out. I gained my weight back and then some. My wife signed us up for Scaleback, Alabama, and it's where you sign up if you're not familiar with it. I think you have to lose like 10 pounds over 6 weeks or something like that. We went into the doctor's office that was hosting the weigh-ins, and I weighed at 355 pounds. And I was like, oh my goodness. That's when I decided it's time to do it. I called, I got scheduled back into the weight loss center, found out I did not have to go back through all the stuff leading up to the 6 months. I had to lose the required amount of weight, and I had to do the diet class again, which would have been the 3rd diet class. I started walking. One of our city parks has a track, and I'm trying to remember, it's almost, I think, 1.5 miles around. I started walking, and I started off probably about 2 miles, and then I worked up to 5 miles. I lost the weight, and I wound up finally having gastric sleeve July 16, 2018. So I started over again, remember, at 355 pounds. And the morning I had surgery, I weighed 301 pounds. So I'd lost 54 pounds from February to July. If you're not familiar with gastric sleeve, it works by restriction. They cut out 85% of your stomach. Your new stomach is kind of shaped like a banana. Your stomach is so small till you're restricted on what you're able to consume. Your new stomach can hold 1 to 2 ounces at first. And I'm reading this stuff because I can't remember all of it. Once you have surgery, your stomach holds 1 to 2 ounces. And you will gradually be able to eat more and more, eventually eating 4 to 6 ounces around 1 year. I cannot eat 4 to 6 ounces, but I've only been out about 7 months, 8 months. Your nutrition goals should be focused on proteins and fluids. You need to cut carbs as much as possible. You need to have very few carbs. I think my max carbs a day is like 40 carbs, I believe. It is important to take multivitamins, B12 injections, and for women, calcium. I'm taking calcium anyway because my vitamins do not include calcium. I'm trying to remember the brand that I'm using. I think Bariatric Advantage is the calcium brand that I use, but it does not include calcium, so I am consuming calcium as well. Do not drink with meals and no carbonation. I have trouble eating without water to help wash my food down because I just can't do it. It feels like I'm gonna get choked. So I do drink a little bit with my meals, but I do not gulp it down. There's no way I could gulp it. And no carbonation, which includes all Cokes, which in the South we say Cokes, and if wherever you're at, you may say soda pop or cola, and I can't think of the others. In the South, every soft drink is considered a Coke, or where I live in Southeast Alabama anyway, and I'm sure it's that way all over the South. I do sip on soft drinks a little bit. I do not gulp them down. Sometimes I just need that caffeine boost, and I will sip on a Coke. But I do not drink the whole thing. I may get just a little bit in the bottom of a glass and just sip it. It's important to pay attention to the size of your medications. When I was in the process of working up to having surgery, I had to get a list of my medications and turn them into the bariatric center at the hospital because your medications can get hung. I have never had a problem with my medications being caught. And my calcium that I take is as big as into my pinky, and it goes right down. I don't have any problems with it. The sleeve is not reversible. Once they cut your stomach out, it's gone. There's no retrieving it. It's not like having a gastric lap band where they just cut off, they restrict your stomach with a band and they do not remove any of your stomach. The gastric sleeve, they cut your stomach out and it is gone and it is stapled closed. Complications can include a leak, obstruction, and strictures. I have had absolutely no problems with any of those. Follow-up visits are important. I just had my follow-up visit, my 6-month follow-up visit, which I was a little behind on Wednesday, so I had it 2 days ago, and everything's going good. Everything is good. I'm having no problems. Now, I did find out that I should be eating protein equivalent to 4 to 5 chicken breasts, but there is no way I can ingest that much chicken in a day. That's why it's important for me to continue drinking protein shakes, Premier Protein or whatever you prefer, to work up to my protein for the day, because like I said, there's no way I can ingest 4 to 5 chicken breasts. See online videos for further explanation. Our bariatric team will also explain the bariatric surgery procedures to you in more detail. So if there's anything you want to know about a gastric sleeve surgery, you can find it online. Everything you need to know about a gastric sleeve surgery is online. There should be no reason you can't find the information that you're looking for and not be able to find it online. Going back to my initial weight when I started the program again for the final time, I weighed 355 pounds. The morning I had surgery, I weighed 301 pounds. I'd lost 54 pounds leading up to the procedure. I had the surgery and I passed through with flying colors. My surgeon said I had no issues during surgery, and I went to my room, and when I came to, I was in pain. The gas that they blow up my stomach with, I was having excessive gas pains, but they were quickly relieved because they did give me medications to relieve me of gas pains. And for some reason, I was having dry heaves and I was gagging when I came to, but that was quickly relieved also. And everything went well after that point. They tell you get up as soon as you can after surgery and walk to relieve the gas. And probably an hour and a half, I was up walking after I came to. And I would walk a couple, 3 laps around the floor, and the floor was a pretty good size. And I would walk the laps around the floor multiple times, and I woke up during the night, I'd get up and walk. The next morning, I got up and I walked. It is a overnight procedure. You stay 1 night in the hospital and you are released the next morning to go home. I had to wait to see my surgeon to make sure that he approved me to be discharged, that I wasn't having any problems. Sorry, I pulled out my earphone. I had to wait also on the dietitian from the weight loss center to come around and excuse me to discharge me also. She gave me some follow-up paperwork. She gave me a card that I was allowed to take to restaurants to present to them, saying, hey, this person has had gastric sleeve surgery. They cannot eat like a normal adult, and can they please order off of a children's menu if possible. I've never had to use the card. I have never had a problem with anyone denying me a smaller portion. But usually what I do is my wife and I will agree on something that we want to eat. They will bring me an extra plate and I will dip off of hers and make me a small portion plate. I was going to say something and I just completely forgot what I was going to say. I I have no regrets doing this surgery. I recommend people to do the surgery. I've had no complications. Of course, I'm not saying that you will not have complications. Everyone is completely different. I was and going to the price of the procedure. The procedure was over $100,000. I'm fortunate in the aspect that my wife works for a sister hospital in this corporation, and when I had the surgery, my insurance paid whatever my copays were or whatever they paid for the procedure, and after whatever was left, the hospital writes off. I didn't have to pay anything to the hospital. I didn't have to pay the surgeon anything, which I have two insurance, so that covered that. I have paid absolutely $0 out of pocket for this procedure. So if you ever want to consider having gastric sleeve, check into your hospitals. You may be able to have surgery at your local hospital, and if you want to, you might can get a job there to have it written off and not have to pay anything for it. I am going to stop at this point. My next point, I will pick up discussing following days at home. Have I had any problems? How much weight have I lost? And I will complete the series out. But at this point, I'm about 7 months out, 6 months. Well, 7 months, 8 months. But I have had absolutely no problems. Everyone's different, so you can never tell what somebody may have to go through. I'm going to stop on this point and let y'all go, but y'all have a good day. I hope you have enjoyed this series thus far. If you have, please subscribe, please like my post, please ring that bell so you'll get notifications every time that I upload, and the next part of this series will be coming soon. Thank you.